Hello, everybody. I'm Nire, and welcome to day 6 of Bookmas. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about my most anticipated books for 2026. I have a list of 6 books that are coming out in 2026 that I'm really excited for. So we're going to go through it and I'm going to tell you, what they are about, when are they coming out, and why I'm excited for them. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is actually my most anticipated book for 2026. Like, I am so excited for this release, and that is We Burn So Bright by TJ Klune. So this book comes out on April 28th. In this book, there is a black hole coming for Earth. So basically the world is ending, and we follow Dawn and Rodney, a married couple who are going on a road trip from Maine to Washington because they need to sort some things out before, the end of the world. We basically just follow their journey through that road trip, and I have a little feeling that this is going to be such an amazing book. I'm pretty sure that, of course, we're going to see the whole found family aspect that we see in all of TJ Klune's books. I have been literally wanting to read another TJ Klune book for such a long time. I'm so freaking excited for this release. So I am most definitely going to be picking it up right away, right after it comes out, because we all know how I feel about TJ Klune, and we all know how I feel about found family. And I just know that this is going to be one of my favorite books of 2026. So super excited for it. So the next book that I'm really excited for is Heartstopper Volume 6 by Alice Oseman. So this comes out on July 7th. I believe it's going to be the last book in the Heartstopper series, and I'm so sad about it because I absolutely love Nick and Charlie, and I just loved following their story. So I am so sad that it's finally coming to an end, but I'm also really excited to see the ending of Nick and Charlie's story and see, how everything unfolds and all that. It is a little bittersweet. In one hand, I'm just so excited for the book, but then I know that when this one comes out, nothing else is going to come out in this series. So I don't know. I'm definitely a little bit sad, but like I said, really excited for it as well. And basically, from what I know, we're going to follow Nick and Charlie navigating their relationship now that Nick is going to university and Charlie still has a year of high school, I'm pretty sure, trying to navigate that and trying to navigate, long distance relationships. Are they going to work out? Are they not? Which, I mean, they should. Of course they will. Like, they are Nick and Charlie. But I am just obsessed with this series. I absolutely love it. I am so happy that we have books like this where we can see ourselves on a page and we can see all types of love just being celebrated. And I just absolutely love it. I also am really curious to see what happens with Nick and Charlie's friends, because I absolutely love all their friends. Like, I'm attached to these people, okay? These characters, I'm attached to these characters. I love them so much. I want to see what happens with them, and I hope that everything, turns out great. And so I am really excited for this book, but I'm also a little bit nervous, but we'll see what happens when it actually comes out on July 7th, like I said. Next up, we have Her Last Breath by Taylor Adams. Taylor Adams is the same author of No Exit and The Last Word, which are 2 books that I absolutely love. They're amazing thrillers. If you have not read them, go ahead and read them because they're so great. This book is coming out on February 17th, and it follows Tess, who decides to go caving with her friend Allie, who is like a travel influencer, and she loves to do all types of like rock climbing and caving and all that. Tess decides to tag along with Allie in one of her trips, and for some reason they decide to go caving. And while they're in the cave, pretty much like underground, there's nobody around, or they think there's somebody around, they suddenly see that they're actually not alone, and there's actually a guy there with them. The guy starts to bother them. They're trying to leave, but it's not as easy because they're stuck in the cave. It's not super easy to just decide to leave. They have to, go through all this trouble just to leave the cave. So I have a feeling that it's going to be very similar to No Exit, where they're trapped in a place and something is going on and they're trying to, figure out what's going on, and then they figure out what's going on and now they're trying to escape, but it's like difficult to escape. And I feel like it's going to be very thrilling, and I'm just really excited because all the books that I've read by Taylor Adams I've really enjoyed, and I just really want a really good thriller that has me at the edge of my seat, something that I'm not sure what's going to happen. So I'm most definitely ready to read another Taylor Adams book. Next up, we have Graceless Heart by Isabel Ibanez, and this book comes out on January 13th. I have never read an Isabel Ibanez book before, I don't think, but this one sounds so great. And the cover of this book, I'm in love with the cover. I think it's so gorgeous, and I feel like it definitely has a lot of like medieval fantasy vibes, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. So, and in this book, we follow a main character who decides to enter into some trials in order to save her brother. And while she's at the competition, she reveals this like dark magic that she has. And because in her world, magic is forbidden, she gets captured. But shortly after, they find out that she can actually be useful for some kind of mission. So she gets sent on this like very dangerous task. And that is pretty much the basic premise of the book, or at least the thing that I know about the book. And it sounds really great. I mean, it sounds very interesting, but like I said, I've never read anything about this author before, so this is gonna be my first impression of this author. So hopefully I do really end up liking this one and I decide to, you know, read the rest of her backlist. So another 2026 release that I'm really excited for is My Husband's Wife by Alice Finney. I have really enjoyed Alice Finney's books in the past. I really like Daisy Darker, Rock Paper Scissors. I really enjoy her work, so I'm really excited for this book. So this one comes out on January 20th, and in this one we follow Eden, who is an artist, and because she's nervous about her first exhibition, she decides to go on a run, and when she comes back to her house, she sees that things are just like a little different. She kind of feels like something is off, and then she tries to open her house and her key is just like not fitting into the keyhole, and then suddenly a woman opens the door and the woman looks exactly like her. And not only does the woman look exactly like her, but then Eden's husband claims that the woman who opened the door is his wife and not Eden, and of course she's very confused. She doesn't know what's going on. I am very intrigued into seeing how Alice Finney is going to develop that plot and what is going to happen and what actually is going on. I already have a little bit of a theory just by knowing the premise of the book. It definitely is reminding me of another book, which I'm blanking on the name right now, but it's a book that I really enjoyed this year. I think it's giving me the same vibes. If you've read that book and you know what's going on in there and the explanation to that whole scenario that we get to see in that book, you might already know what I'm talking about when I say I think I know what is going on in Alice Finney's book, because I think it's very similar. I think it might be a very similar situation. But like I said, Alice Finney is usually an author that I really enjoy, and usually her stories are really intriguing, really interesting, and I'm just really excited for this one as well. And then finally, the last book that I'm anticipating for 2026 is Heir Prophecy by Annalise Sabrana. This book comes out on July 28th, and I believe it is a young adult fantasy about Audra, who is a human, but then one day she gets kidnapped and taken to the Fae world in order to be put into this school that's going to train her to become a soldier for priestesses of the Fae world, because these priestesses believe that one of the students of the academy is the heir of prophecy, who they are looking for some reason. And Audra actually believes that she is the heir of prophecy, but for some reason she cannot let them find out. I'm guessing that the priestesses might be looking for the heir just to like destroy her or something, and that's why Audra doesn't want to tell them that she might be the heir. This is another author that I've never read anything from before, but the premise of the book sounds really interesting. The cover is stunning, and I'm sure that I'm just going to absolutely love this book. I tend to really like young adult when it's like either fantasy or thrillers. Like I usually really enjoy like a good young adult thriller. I'm actually mostly really curious about the whole situation of why the priestesses want to find the heir of prophecy. Why does Audra think she might be the heir of prophecy? You know, there's many things that I want to find out, so I am very curious. So yeah, those are all the 6 books that I'm really anticipating for 2026. Actually, there's one more book that I cannot believe I forgot to mention while making this video, and that book is Six of Crows, A Darker Shore, Letters from Ketterdam. The whole Grishaverse, but specifically the Six of Crows duology, is one of my favorite series of all time. So you have no idea how excited I am for this book. It doesn't even have a cover yet. It comes out on June 30th. This is actually a novella, so it's not a full-length book, but I will take any crumb that Lee Bardugo gives me from the Six of Crows universe. So yeah, it's crazy that I need to mention it in the main video, but I'm most definitely excited for this one. All right, so now we can actually go to the outro. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on your bell notifications, and I'll see you tomorrow for Bookmas Day 7.